The EFF takes its Andries Tatane Clean-Up Campaign to Soweto today. For more on the story, we take you now to our reporter Natasha Phiri, who joins us live from Soweto. Natasha, thank you so much for your time at this hour. Perhaps maybe take us through what's happening there this morning.
Well, Nkolisi, the cleaning has actually commenced. As you can see behind me, the trucks are actually picking up some of the rubble and the rubbish here behind me. It's quite dusty, as you would understand, and very dirty, might I also add. Just to also add that, there's actually a water pipe, a sewage pipe underneath, and it had just burst, Nkolisi, so the smell is really unbearable. We are waiting for the president of the EFF, Mr. Julius Malema, to actually talk to us shortly. As you can see, he's down there, also inspecting some of the sites, telling the tractors what to do in terms of, cleaning. He's actually walking up now with the national spokesperson. But just talking to community members earlier on, the cry here was that this place is so filthy, and this place, some criminals actually stay behind and, somewhat rob people here. So some community members raising the issue of crime, saying that because of such a high amount of rubble, criminals would actually, stage and camp outside here in Kolisi so that they can actually rob people. People also complaining about the stench that comes from the rubbish in this area, saying that it was unbearable, and that, other community members from other zones, Zone 4, Zone 5, come and actually dump their waste here. But of course, that is, you can see the EFF leader, Mr. Julius Malema, and of course, we'll be fielding a couple of questions to him about the cleanup campaign and whether it's sustainable or not. Mr. Malema, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. You've always said time and time again that you want to make cleaning fashionable through such campaigns. How do you ensure that this campaign will be sustainable, and how will you ensure that other community members, when the EFF leaves this place, continue to actually clean this place? It's quite interesting that earlier on we saw some Pick It Up members saying that they're also coming to help you as the EFF.
Well, we welcome everyone who wants to come and help us. All we said was that we need to conscientize society about environmental issues, but to work their own environment and to stay in a clean environment, it is to their own benefit. But if people just come and clean without doing consciousness around the area, it's a futile exercise. But it's a work that the EFF must never get tired of doing. Because someone was saying to me, we clean and then they come back to dump again. Why? And I said, it's like a father saying, I bought food last month. Why must I buy food again? It's a permanent job that politicians must always engage in cleaning after their own communities. And we want to make this fashionable. We are now taking it into councils to be a resolution of councils where councillors physically, at least once a week, engage in a service delivery program that gives them direct interaction with the masses of our people.
Mr. Malema, speaking to some of the residents, they say as much as they appreciate this clean-up program that you are heading, they're saying that they've got far more pressing issues like unemployment, abadamali, and all of those things. And they're saying, in the face of that, how would you respond to somebody who says that?
Well, we are making our own little contribution. The issue of unemployment, the issue of high standard of living, the issue of high inflation and a repo rate are matters that we are always and constantly challenging in Parliament. But that is so much we can do as the EFF. And even in the councils, we are engaged in programs that will develop the infrastructure and create those temporary intervention in poverty alleviation amongst our people. Those are serious concerns. But we cannot say, because we've got this mountainous problem, there is nothing we can do. We must fold our arms. We are saying, in as much as we've got this big problem of unemployment, as much as we've got this problem of high living standards, let us do something as the EFF, not to worsen the conditions of our people. We agree with them and we sympathize with them, and we are constantly engaged in fighting unemployment. The most unfortunate thing is that they've given people who know nothing about creating jobs a responsibility to govern. So we're going to election next year. They have to make sure that they bring a government that makes things happen. The jobs can be created, but because people are obsessed with maximizing profit and stealing from the poor, they are now busy privatizing state-owned enterprises, which are institutions that should create these jobs we are talking about. As we speak, Eskom is being privatized. Of late, with an abnormal speed, is Transnet. Transnet, that created a lot of jobs, is going to be privatized. The EFF is fighting against that. The EFF organized shutdown, amongst other demands, was the stopping of privatization. You cannot privatize in the middle of high unemployment. You are going to worsen the unemployment.
Mr. Malema, just on issues around the ICC, we saw earlier on this week the presidency says that it will not leave the ICC. The ANC says that it's resolved to press ahead with removing the country from the ICC. And also, furthermore, if you can just also react to what the Premier of the Western Cape, Mr. Windy, had said, that if the Russian President, Mr. Putin, were to land in the Western Cape, he would be arrested.
Well, ICC, we must get out of it. The ANC is confused. I've never seen such a confused organization that is controlled by white capital. The SG speaks from Little House, says we're moving out of ICC. The president speaks from Union Building, we're moving out of ICC. Same day. Later in the evening, they come back, they say there was a mistake committed, we're not leaving the ICC. How can the president and the SG commit the same mistake when they are in two separate places at the same time? The white capital that controls the ANC went to reprimand them immediately after they had spoken. What an international embarrassment, because this was said in front of a visiting head of state. So if you don't know what these people are doing, just look at what they did the last time about the ICC. We need to get out of the ICC, because there is international inconsistency when it comes to application of the rule of law by the ICC. We cannot have people who committed genocides being free, and America not even be a signatory at the ICC, yet we must be a signatory. It's very clear that the ICC is created to anyone who disagrees with the America. So we cannot allow that. We cannot allow America to police us by the rules that itself cannot follow. Why is George Bush not in prison? Why is Obama not in prison? It is Obama who led the killing of Brother Gaddafi here in Africa. So we cannot allow that. We cannot allow a situation where this thing is selective. President Putin is more than welcome here, and no one is going to arrest President Putin. Everyone who says that is blowing a hot air. I don't think the Premier of Western Cape knows what he's talking about. If he wants to meet his maker prematurely, he must try and touch Putin. No one can do that. Not even Biden can say such a regular statement when it comes to Putin. Putin is more than welcome here. You know, what he said, that Premier of Western Cape, reminds me of the 2019 elections, when we were in a voting station after forming the EFF, 2014, not 2019, 2014 elections. My brother is a party agent there. And then he sees my grandmother's friends coming in to vote, and they don't vote for the EFF. When he went home, he said to my grandmother, your friends must no longer come here. That day he knew who was the owner, because my grandmother said that is not going to happen. And those people who did not vote for EFF continued coming into our family. So that boy of Western Cape is a spoiled brat. He just behaves like some young a fellow who feels entitled, and there is nothing he can do. I mean, if Putin goes to the doorstep of his house, he's going to jump like a fanatic. He will never, the mentality of arresting Putin will not be there, because Putin, as we speak now, is a world hero. Anyone who stands up to the bully America is a friend of ours. Even if he's not a communist or a socialist, the fact that he's trying to create a situation where there is no one big brother, but there is an alternative in case we disagree with America, that person is welcomed. And that's why the EFF support Putin, and he's more than welcome. This is his home. We're standing here in Soweto today without soldiers, without police. This place during the struggle was an army base. We're not allowed to have any political activity here. Today, we are free because we fought those people with the guns that were given to us by Soviet Union. And at the center of the Soviet Union was Russia. And today we cannot turn against our friends who were there for us during a needy time and the most difficult time.
And your reaction to the Deputy President Paul Mashatile leading the committee on South Africa's IGC constitution?
It's good. We want to see if he's got balls. This is a serious test for him. They are setting him up. He must come out of that victorious and on the side of the people. He ought to take a stand. And the ANC stand on these matters historically has been very clear. We have always been, as a country, on the side of Russia. And I don't understand why should Paul have a difficulty saying Putin must be invited and Putin must be welcomed here in South Africa. Bye.
Yes, my name is Shannon from Kasi Broadcasting Corporation. I see the EFF is in Soweto today. Townships has been neglected for years. Every time when it comes close to elections, councillors start working. There's suddenly miracles in some townships where it was wrong spots were given for clean-up campaigns. Trucks went there yesterday, they started cleaning. We encourage EFF to continue doing what they're doing so councillors can work. But what we want to understand is why the name Andries Tatane for this campaign.
Andries Tatane is a community hero who was killed in Fitzburg protesting for service delivery, and at the center of that service delivery was water. He demanded water for his community because he knew that water is life. Instead of giving him life, the ANC government gave him death. They killed him and they thought that his name will die in vain. We have taken the baton from Andries Tatane and we are continuing the fight to make sure that services are delivered to our people, in particular African communities. White people and visitors all over, when they come to South Africa, they identify a place of settlement of black people through piles and piles of rubbish and illegal dumping that has taken place here in the African townships. So we are saying we need to clean after our people. The first step to goodness is looking after yourself. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be poor, you just have to look after yourself. If we clean this place and some old mamas come here and convert this place into a small garden and use this empty space for the benefits of the communities, where is the EFF branch? If the old mamas don't want to use it, the EFF must, after cleaning, convert this into a small garden and then adopt a school in this ward and give those food to that particular school. Out of every negativity that we're experiencing today, there will always be a positive. We ought to use this campaign to produce the positive by feeding ourselves and feeding our own communities. We must stop being crybabies. We need to work on our own. We are an opposition party that can easily sit back and shout from its comfort offices. But no, if we are genuine about the love we have for our people, let's go and clean after our people, and not only once, continuously, until our people become aware that actually dumping here, it's wrong. So when we leave tomorrow, and then they come and dump here, We must not complain. We must come clean after these communities, but educate them in the process, conscientize them in the process. Not this nonsensical approach of pick it up, that when they hear the EFF is going to clean, only then they go and clean. And when the EFF leaves, they leave, but these people are paying rates and taxes. It's actually wrong. The CEO of Pick It Up must actually be suspended because he's playing politics. What type of a CEO goes after a political party? When a political party says tomorrow we're going to clean, only then you release the trucks of Pick It Up to go and clean. The CEO of Pick It Up is playing politics. He must be dealt with, to be taught a lesson. Even when he's sent by the ANC, he can't follow illegal instruction from the ANC. Pick It Up must clean this place, and it must be done on daily basis. They must collect waste every now and then to avoid people dumping here. If you don't collect waste, people are going to find an alternative and they're going to dump here. When illegal dumping starts, if we've got a functional Pick It Up and a ward councillor, immediately you must go in there and stop that illegal dumping, clean the place and educate our people. Yesterday, Pick It Up demonstrated for all to know and see that it has got capacity to clean after Soweto. Where they went yesterday, we deliberately said we are going to clean there. Then they ran there, but we knew we were coming to clean here so that we can clean 2 places in 1 weekend, which are huge, and we have achieved that. That is EFF for you. Thank you very much.
Well, that was the leader of the EFF, Mr. Julius Malema, just also speaking to members of the media on the sidelines there of the Andries Tatane, cleaning campaign. And of course, just also not talking about only the importance of this cleaning campaign, saying that this cleaning campaign is meant to conscientize people, around, Soweto, around various communities and townships across the country about cleaning, but also to ensure that service delivery really is, something that actually happens in these communities that he says that government has forgotten, but also talking about very other important issues, the issue of the International Criminal Court. I mean, we saw what happened, earlier on this week on Tuesday when the ANC had their press briefing, and I myself and my colleagues were covering, that state visit by the Finnish president here, where President Cyril Ramaphosa, basically talking about around the issues of the ICC, talking in one unison as the SG of the ANC, Mr. Phiri Malula, had said that, the ANC has resolved to press ahead with removing the South Africa from the ICC. But later on, we saw that statement and that voice note by the presidential spokesperson, Mr. Vincent Magwenya, saying that the country will not leave the ICC. He also responded further to, that decision yesterday when we heard the minister, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, saying that the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, will lead a committee on South Africa's ICC participation, meaning that Mashatile will preside over the Interministerial Committee to consider South Africa's options for participation in the ICC. Also responding there to the Western Cape Premier, Mr. Alan Winde, saying that if the Russian President Putin actually lands in the Western Cape, he will be arrested. And Mr. Malema says that that will not happen and not under their watch. Also just reflecting there on the deep historic relationships between Russia and South Africa. Remember, they played a very pivotal role in ensuring, that this country is actually liberated and free. They trained some of the MK soldiers that side. So these are just some of the sentiments that are coming out here of Soweto. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
Natasha Phiri, we park it there. Thanks very much indeed for that comprehensive update.